Council Representative Pax'lo adjusted his ceremonial robes with 3 of his tentacles while the remaining 2 tapped impatiently on the grand podium. The Galactic Council chamber buzzed with anticipation, its crystalline dome reflecting the light of 7 suns. Today was the day they'd finally put those troublesome humans in their place. Can you believe they showed up in just 1 warship? Pax'lo snorted to Admiral Vorn beside him. A primitive vessel they call Defiance. How appropriate. These humans truly don't understand their position in the cosmic hierarchy. Admiral Vorn, a towering insectoid with mandibles that clicked when he was nervous, simply nodded. Perhaps we shouldn't be so quick to silence. Pax'lo interrupted. I've studied their history. Barely 2 centuries of space travel and they think they deserve equal standing? The audacity. The human delegation entered the chamber, led by Ambassador Jack Harper. Unlike the elaborate attire of the council members, Harper wore a simple blue suit with a red tie. His 5 companions were similarly dressed, carrying only small data tablets. No weapons, no ceremonial ornaments. Nothing to suggest they represented a species worth noticing. Pax'lo raised all 5 tentacles, commanding silence from the assembly of 27 galactic species. The Galactic Council recognizes Earth's delegation, he announced, voice dripping with condescension. We have reviewed your petition for full membership, and have reached a decision. Harper nodded respectfully. We appreciate the Council's consideration. Before we grant your World Observer status, not full membership, mind you, we require certain assurances, Pax'lo continued. The Council has unanimously decided that Earth must surrender its military fleet to Council oversight. Your vessels will be incorporated into our defense force, under our command. This is non-negotiable. A heavy silence fell over the chamber. The representatives from the Florian Collective whispered among their flower-crowned heads. The Xantari delegation scales shimmered in apparent amusement. Then something unexpected happened. Ambassador Harper laughed. Not a nervous chuckle, but a genuine, hearty laugh that echoed throughout the chamber. Is something amusing, Ambassador? Pax'lo demanded, his skin flushing purple with indignation. Harper wiped a tear from his eye. I apologize, Representative. But you're asking us to surrender our fleet. Our single warship? For now, yes. And any future vessels, Pax'lo clarified, confused by the reaction. Harper straightened his tie. Then our answer is no. Earth respectfully declines your offer of observer status under these terms. He nodded to his team, who began gathering their tablets. You dare reject the Council's generosity? Pax'lo sputtered. We do. Earth withdraws its petition for membership. Harper turned to leave, his delegation following. This is unprecedented. Pax'lo shouted. No species has ever walked away from the Council. Harper paused at the doorway. There's a first time for everything, Representative. Good day. As the human delegation departed, Admiral Vorn leaned toward the stunned Pax'lo. The Defiance is powering up its engines. They're actually leaving. Pax'lo's tentacles trembled. Let them go. They'll be back, begging for protection within a solar cycle. Little did he know just how wrong he was. #only one ship. Earth walks away, Galactic Council realizes too late. #Part 2, the revelation, you need to see this immediately. Admiral Kirill burst into Pax'lo's private chamber, his usually immaculate blue feathers ruffled and out of place. His talons clutched a data pad so tightly the screen had cracked. Pax'lo waved 3 tentacles dismissively. If this is about the humans, they'll return within the week. Their precious Defiance can't protect an entire planet. That's exactly the problem, Kirill squawked, slapping the data pad onto the hovering crystal table. The Intelligence Bureau completely misinterpreted what Defiance is. Holographic images sprang to life, showing Earth ships across the galaxy, thousands of them, all simultaneously changing course. Massive cargo haulers, luxury passenger liners, mining vessels, scientific explorers, all returning to Earth. So they're running home scared, Pax'lo scoffed. Curil's head crest expanded in alarm. No, you arrogant fool. We've made a terrible mistake. Look at this. The hologram shifted to historical footage. A human cargo ship, attacked by pirates. Within hours, the same vessel had welded on weapon mounts and was hunting the pirates down. Another image, a passenger liner retrofitted with shield generators and missile tubes during an unexpected conflict. The Bureau's assessment was catastrophically wrong, Kuril explained, pacing frantically. We thought humans had only one warship because that's all they need. They don't maintain a standing military fleet like we do. They convert civilian vessels for war, within days. Pax'lo's skin paled. That's barbaric. Inefficient. It's brilliant, Kuril corrected. Every human ship is designed with military conversion protocols. Their engineers train for rapid weaponization. Their civilian captains have military ranks in reserve. We didn't detect a military fleet because, technically, they don't have one, until they need one. The council chamber's emergency alert began blaring through the complex. On the main view screen, real-time footage showed human merchant vessels across council space abruptly changing course. They're recalling everything, whispered Vorn, who had just entered. 15,000 ships, all heading to Earth. The humans are enacting something called Protocol Wolverine. Contact them. Pax'lo shouted, tentacles flailing. Open diplomatic channels immediately. Vorn's mandibles clicked anxiously. We've tried. They're not responding. And we've discovered what Defiance actually is. It's not a warship at all. It's a prototype. Their test platform for next-generation conversion technology. The council representatives from 27 civilizations crowded around view screens, watching in horror as the first human luxury liner arrived at Earth's orbit. Within hours, its gleaming hull was reinforced with armor plating, tourist observation decks transformed into missile bays, and entertainment systems repurposed for electronic warfare. By the Seven Suns, Pax'lo whispered. We demanded they surrender one ship. Kuril finished the thought, and instead, we may have just created the largest battle fleet the galaxy has ever seen. Only one ship? Earth walks away, Galactic Council realizes too late Part 3, the demonstration 3 days of silence. 3 days of watching human ships vanish from trade routes. 3 days of mounting dread. Then, without warning, a transmission reached every screen in the council chamber. This is the Stellar Princess, formerly a luxury cruise liner carrying 5,000 vacationers, announced a stern-faced human captain. We've been instructed to provide a demonstration. The footage showed the massive vessel, once famous for its zero-gravity pools and orbital fine dining, now bristling with weapon systems. The transformation was breathtaking in its efficiency. Armor plating covered the once transparent viewing decks. Point defense turrets had replaced entertainment satellites. The ship's elegant profile now projected undeniable menace. Commencing demonstration, the captain stated flatly. The Stellar Princess unleashed a barrage against a small asteroid. Not just ordinary weapons, cutting-edge technology that the Council's intelligence had never documented. The asteroid didn't just fragment, it disintegrated. As the council representatives watched in stunned silence, the chamber doors slid open. Ambassador Jack Harper strode in, flanked by 2 officers in crisp military uniforms. No weapons, but their bearing suggested they hardly needed any. Ambassador Harper, Pax'lo stammered, we've been trying to, you will listen now, Harper interrupted, his voice quiet but carrying unstoppable authority. Earth presents its terms. Full council membership with equal voting rights. A formal apology for the attempted coercion of a sovereign species. and immediate cessation of all intelligence operations in Earth space. The Council erupted in chaos. The Florian collective representatives wilted in distress. The normally stoic Zardaxian delegation hissed frantically among themselves. "This is blackmail," shouted Pax'lo, tentacles lashing. "You cannot threaten the Galactic Council." Admiral Kuril stepped forward, feathers quivering. "We should accept their terms immediately. I've reviewed the complete intelligence. Humans don't just convert ships, their entire industrial base can pivot to war production in weeks. They call it lessons from history. We will not be intimidated by barbarians." Pax'lo insisted. The Council split into factions before their eyes. Most species sided with Kuril, recognizing the danger. But Pax'lo's faction remained obstinate. "Perhaps another demonstration would help," Harper suggested, activating a hologram showing the luxury liner that had been converted, now joined by 50 more identical vessels. "This is Battle Group Alpha, assembled in just 3 days. Groups Beta through Zeta are nearly complete. You would start a war?" Pax'lo gasped. "No," Harper replied. "We would finish one. Quickly. You threatened Earth, believing we had one warship. Your mistake. We've spent our history adapting to threats, it's what humans do best." Kuril stepped between them. "The Council needs time to deliberate, Ambassador." "You have 12 hours, Harper replied, turning to leave. "Oh, and we're tracking the 3 intelligence ships you sent to Earth space. I wouldn't recommend leaving them there." As the doors closed behind him, the Council faced an unthinkable reality. The species they had dismissed as primitive had outmaneuvered them completely. #only one ship? Earth walks away, Galactic Council realizes too late. Part 4, the resolution. The 12-hour deadline expired with no response from the Council. Then, precisely 1 minute later, space rippled around the Council station as hundreds of ships dropped out of faster-than-light travel simultaneously. "Sweet mercy," gasped Admiral Kuril, staring at the tactical display. What had once been cargo haulers, science vessels, and pleasure yachts now formed a perfect blockade formation around the station. Each vessel bristled with weapons that shouldn't have been possible on civilian frames. The Council's own defense fleet, supposedly the mightiest armada in 5 spiral arms, suddenly looked pathetically small. "They've had these conversion plans all along," whispered Admiral Vorn. "Every ship, pre-designed for combat roles." Ambassador Harper's shuttle docked without requesting permission. This time, when he entered the Council chamber, the entire assembly rose in nervous respect. "You said we had one warship," Harper stated, surveying the chamber calmly. "Technically correct. The Defiance is our only dedicated military vessel. The rest are multipurpose." Pax'lo, his once arrogant demeanor completely deflated, raised a trembling tentacle. "How many ships have you converted?" Harper smiled. "All of them." A horrified murmur swept through the chamber. "But we bring a choice," Harper continued, nodding to his aides who distributed data tablets to each Council representative. "Earth prefers trade to war. Cooperation to conflict. These tablets contain our final offer, an equal partnership. We bring innovation, adaptability, and yes, our unique approach to defense." Admiral Kuril reviewed the document, his head crest relaxing slightly. "These terms are surprisingly reasonable. We don't want to rule the galaxy," Harper explained. "We just refuse to be ruled by it. Earth respects the Council's ancient wisdom, but demands respect for our different approach to surviving in a dangerous universe." The vote was swift and unanimous, even Pax'lo couldn't argue anymore. The Treaty of Seoul was ratified, granting Earth full membership and establishing new protocols for mutual defense cooperation. As the Council adjourned, Pax'lo approached Harper privately. "I was wrong about your people, Ambassador. I mistook efficiency for weakness." Harper nodded. A common error. Humans don't waste resources maintaining what we can build when needed. One question, Pax'lo asked, genuine curiosity in his voice. What would have happened if we had refused your terms today? Harper's expression turned serious. Nothing. We would have returned home and continued trading with individual council members who valued our business. Your influence would have gradually diminished as more species realized they could deal with us directly. No attack. No war. Why waste lives when economics works better? Harper smiled. The fleet was just to get your attention. As Pax'lo watched the human delegation depart, Admiral Curil joined him at the viewport. The most dangerous species, Curil observed, aren't those with the most weapons. They're the ones who can create exactly what they need, precisely when they need it. Pax'lo nodded, a newfound respect in his gaze as Earth's fleet began to disperse. And perhaps the most valuable allies are those who prefer not to fight, but are extraordinarily prepared to do so if necessary. The lesson would not be forgotten.